In today's video, we're going to discuss a big topic in real estate, and it's the lawsuit for the National Association of Realtors. It starts August 17th in most states, but in Arizona, we started on August 1st, 2024. Each MLS will have their own documents, and every state will be somewhat different. But let's watch this short video now so we get an idea of what's happening.
August 1st in Arizona, the new National Association of Realtors rules about how real estate agents get paid are kicking in, and they could affect anyone buying or selling a home. Let's break it down. These new rules are part of a $418 million settlement that the National Association of Realtors reached earlier this year. It's all about an antitrust lawsuit that claimed real estate brokerages were keeping agent commissions artificially high. So, what's changing? In the past, sellers and their listing agents came up with a compensation amount in which they would offer compensation to the listing agent for selling their home. The listing agent would then share an agreed amount of their commission in the form of a co-broke to the buyer's agent. This fee to the buyer's agent was listed on the MLS system. Each MLS will now remove the buyer's compensation information in their system. The big word on the street is that the sellers do not have to pay a buyer's agent any longer. And many sellers are excited. Hold on a minute. They were never required to pay a buyer's agent. The reason the buyer's agents get paid is to bring ready, willing, and pre-qualified buyers to view the home in hopes of getting the highest price. Normally, the more people see the home, the higher the price tends to be. Simple supply and demand. Sellers could always choose not to have representation and sell their homes for sale by owner, the same way it's always been. They could also use a discount agent or a flat fee agent. It's the same now. The effect on sellers not offering buyers compensation, as promoted in the news, may affect the market, but the effects are not yet known. I know I will be willing to pay a full fee, like in the past, to sell my home, because I know the statistics on using a system where a home gets the most showings and produces a higher sales price for the seller. The big change is really going to affect the buyers. Number one, all buyers will be required to sign a document with an agent before seeing any home. What? Yep, that is the new rule. No viewing of homes with an agent before you sign a buyer representation agreement. In Arizona, we have two forms you can use, and it can be done on a home-by-home basis, or another length of time with the agreement of the buyer and the buyer's agent. The next big change is the agreement will also contain an agreement of compensation with the buyer to pay compensation to the buyer's agent if the seller is not offering a buyer's broker compensation. Now this has buyers scared. Buyers will now have a new process of buying a home that adds a few steps. Instead of calling the night before and going out to look at homes, buyer's agents will receive a list of homes the buyer is interested in. They will sign the buyer's agreement of compensation, and the agent will have to call on all the listings to see if the seller is offering compensation. This could delay some showings if the agent is not available to share the compensation amount from the seller. Lost yet? Next, the buyer's agent will inform the buyer which properties are offering compensation and how much to see if the buyer has to come out of pocket to pay their agent. Based on all the information that is gathered, the buyers can decide on which homes they want to see. Keep in mind that buyers can still make an offer and request compensation for their agent from the seller on any property. This new system is most similar to how commercial property is sold. The compensation of the agent is normally written into the offer to the seller. The question that remains is, will buyers still go look at homes where the seller is not willing to pay their buyer's agent, and therefore the buyer will be responsible to pay the fee? Very few buyers want to come out of pocket. This puts first-time home buyers and veterans at a real disadvantage, something you would never think the government would want. In summary, here's what people need to know. There are two big changes. First, listing agents can no longer advertise buyer agent fees on the multiple listing service, or MLS. And second, buyer agency agreements are now mandatory. This means when buyers meet with an agent, they'll need to sign an agreement before seeing homes in person. And just to clarify, there's no rule that says either sellers or buyers must pay for the buyer's agent fee. All things are negotiable. So, what should sellers and buyers consider with these new rules? For sellers, you'll still need to focus on your bottom line, what you'll walk away with after deducting all your home sale expenses, including your listing agent's fee and potentially the buyer's agent fee if you negotiate that. And buyers, you need to be aware that if you're expected to cover your agent's fees, it could impact your pre-approval for a mortgage. But in most cases, we're likely going to see sellers still covering at least part of the buyer agent's fee.